Joe, first of all, though, let's go crazy, yeah?
Yeah. Good morning, Dotton. Good morning, Mark.
Good
Morning, Joe.
Why would you want to go crazy anyway?
Oh, it's the album. I mean, it's the whole. I had to pick one, but Prince has been my lifelong love since that was released, I think. And I was way too early to drink or smoke. So what you were talking about earlier,
mate,
I was about 11, I think, at the time.
I had asthma. If I smoked even a puff, I would have been in casualty. So we didn't all drink and smoke, but I'm just saying I remember those times when everybody else did. I'm innocent. So in terms of Prince, did you have a raspberry beret?
I had a raspberry beret. There's other songs on that album that I couldn't mention because of the lyrics, but that were one of my favourites. But yeah, I just love all of his stuff. Really, I think I've got nearly everything he released, but I've got that as an actual record. So it is one of my few records that I've got and kept and treasured. So.
Because when he burst onto the scene with controversy and sexuality, he was wearing very little, is what I remember.
True. And I was way too young to be.
Well, I should hope so and all. And I think we still all are way too young to be following in his footsteps in that respect. But then and it's what Mark says every now and then, says, look, these artists have got a habit of being able to reinvent themselves. And Prince reinvented himself in a kind of a Jimi Hendrix kind of way, with the colour purple being the most important aspect, maybe. Yeah,
and the purple's always been my favourite colour as well. I don't know whether that's linked. I only just remembered that when I was phoning in. So, yeah, but his style, I mean, I think he took himself more seriously probably than the early days when he was a bit, like you say, wild and undressed. he covered up a bit more, didn't he?
I mean, a lot of velvet, a lot of kind of little Regency-style suits. I think the thing that probably came out of Prince and the new generation, and I mean, Sheena Easton was a very good sort of Prince disciple, wasn't she? She looked the part. But I think the thing that we could copy was high hair. There was lots of very high hair. Wendy and Lisa wore very high hair. Sheena Easton had very high hair. The fellas had very high hair. So basically, if you couldn't go for the enormous sort of like pirate shirts or the super tight velvet trousers, at least you could put like 14 tons of spray in your hair.
What I remember is people wearing those super tight velvet trousers, Joe. That's what I remember. And high heels.
I was going to say Cuban heels.
He wore Cuban heel, didn't he?
Of course you've got to.
And he was only tiny, wasn't he? But he always seemed bigger. Correct. You know, the presence was bigger than...
There are a lot of people who are tiny in this world, you know, not least men. And Prince gave them a way of being able to stand tall, to be honest, because that style of the tight velvet jeans, it works. It doesn't work as well for very tall men, I don't think. It works for Emma. That's my opinion.
Now, he looked immaculate in that. His look suited him so well, didn't it?
He looked amazing.
It only just occurred to me, of course, that he did it. He's sort of like both ends of it. He kind of shot himself up from 5'3" by putting Cuban heels on and making his hair 6 inches tall. So that's quite smart.
More importantly, he never had a hair out of place. There isn't a single photograph, Joe, of Prince that I've ever seen, anyway, when he doesn't look anything but immaculate 24/7. And that takes some doing. You know, you're not allowed to have off days when you're a pop star of that magnitude. You know, you've got to look the part through and through.
That's something. I saw him leaving a hotel once. In other words, not on stage, and he was dressed like he was on stage. It's like it was a full-time job for that man.
You don't get it. Don't get it. Look, I've been around artists for a lot of my life, and here's the jeopardy of artistry, that we, the fans who love your music, we believe that that's who you are. All the time.
Right, yeah, good
all
point.
The time.
Yeah.
And particularly, funny enough, it's not exclusively the female artist. But I know, from being married to an artist as well, my wife cannot leave the house unless she can, of course, go out of the house without looking like the Queen of Lovers Rock. But if she's going to an event, people expect her to be that character, the Queen of Lovers Rock, and so she has to dress up like that. She can't go rock up without her hair being done and this, that, and the other, etc. And people expect it of you. There was an artist once who, my mate saw him on a bus and he said, "Look, what are you doing on a bus?" And the artist said, "Well, am I not allowed to be on a bus?" And my friend said, "Yeah, but you're so-and-so. You're big time artist. What are you doing on a bus?" Because nobody expects you to be on a bus, if that all makes sense. Prince played the part, though. Played the part full time. And we miss him still, don't we, Joe?
I was going to say, miss him gone way too soon, like Michael Jackson, etc., gone in early 50s, wasn't he, I think, or late 50s maybe?
Yeah, I think Michael Jackson might have been just 50 or so. I seem to remember.
51, 52, something like that.
Yeah. But they've given us permission to go crazy, so, well, Prince said it, let's go crazy. What were you wearing at the time, Joe?
What was I wearing at the time? Probably just gone to high school, so probably my school uniform, but that's the wrong thing to say, isn't it?
No, that's the right thing to say, school uniform. That's what you're supposed to say. Not, I went to one of these schools that you could wear anything.
Oh, no, we had to kneel down and our headmistress made sure that our skirts touched the floor, so they were knee level.
Wow,
that's convent school,
that's
isn't it?
Clever.
That's convent.
That's back in the day.
Yeah,
they don't do it now, do they?
Thank goodness they don't do it now. And they don't make us boys touch our toes either, thankfully, as we bend over to get whacked. None of that, it's all gone. It's new regime, but let's go crazy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Joe.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. That's a mighty long time, but I'm here to tell you.
So this was the point, if you went and saw Prince live, that a certain woman who died last year, Kat, comes out.
Where's you living in? Take a look around. At least you got friends. I call my old lady for a friendly word. She picked up the phone, dropped it on the floor. That's all I heard. Gonna let the elevator break.
So, Mark, what is it? Is this rock? Is it pop?
Yeah.
Is there any R&B in this or not?
He's one of the really genuinely few acts that was refused to be categorised in the sense where he would do anything he wanted, and it would, you kind of say it's Prince as a genre.
Yeah,
I kind of. My favourite album by him is Sign of the Times, and that's me just being much too corny and cliched to my own standard, because that is very much more a funk and R&B album. But I know full well that Purple Rain is like the rock power ballad of all rock power ballads, isn't it?
Well, that's what he'll be remembered for, and he is remembered for more than anything else. Not necessarily by his hardcore audience, but by the musical landscape in general. That's what he's remembered for.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing album. Sign of the Times, I would agree with you, coming from sort of a more kind of a club landscape, funky club landscape, but he did everything, and amazing. And like we said, talking about clobbered, every single album, every single moment you saw him live, he was suitably clobbered